So I want to try to give an update here on the project I'm working on with my UMPCs. Some of the videos I have on YouTube show my older design, which was a Raspberry Pi Zero or Banana Pi Zero with I think it's a 5-inch screen. And mostly my thinking was to create something for development and education. But I seem to have had a lot of contact from people who are looking for more of a web browser media player, something more powerful. So what I've been working on for the last few months is more of a universal UMPC where anybody could add some single board computer to this dock UMPC, and they could install any operating system or platform which they would like to use. Currently I'm using a AWAL, I think it's a Celeron or maybe a Pentium, something slow, compute stick here, and it plugs in to a HDMI female and power out of the device with a USB type A. This screen is updated. Don't know exactly what it is. Display settings. This screen is 1920 by 1080. It's really nice, and especially if you have scaling, videos look good on it, and then you could scale it up so you can actually see icons and stuff like that. Same principle here with a keyboard and a touchpad built in. It has media keys, and it uses a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle, so it's universal, plugs into anything. Even if you don't have an operating system, you can get into BIOS and stuff like that. In my opinion, much better than a Bluetooth keyboard that you need to have an operating system boot up. Inside, I have a 10,000 milliamp battery that I plan to make replaceable, and you'd be able to charge and have multiple batteries. I have to do a little upgrading on the batteries, I think, going forward, but adding some type of connector, and it would slide out of the side of the computer. Right now this one doesn't have a connector on it, but in the future they will have a connector, and you'll be able to swap batteries in and out. And of course you have to reboot. This uses a USB Type-C charger. The charging board looks like this. It's a programmable charging board, so it can charge up to 2 amps, single cell or 2 cell battery. Right now I'm just using a single cell. And currently I have a power boost that can supply up to 3 amps of power, which appears to be working good for something like this lower powered compute stick. I can run the screen, the keyboard, and the computer, and seem to have no problems under heavy load with running the computer. Trying to think if there's anything else particularly here. Pretty straightforward. Female USB Type A for power, out, HDMI female in, and then the idea would be to be able to create a case or some type of mounting for, let's say, a Raspberry Pi 3, Pi 0. I think this is a Banana Pi. So anything theoretically could plug into this, HDMI in, and then power up to probably 2.5 amps to power this. Going forward, what I've been working on, this prototype's been done for a while, but some of the things I wanted to do better was to add sound. So one of the projects I've been working on is to do something like this, where we have a Bluetooth receiver, and 2 speakers, and you would be able to, any operating system that supports Bluetooth, just connect to it. So no hardwired sound, just boot up into your operating system, connect via Bluetooth, and then you have sound. These obviously aren't the greatest speakers, but for now they seem to be working, and it's much better to have some sound than no sound at all. Another thing I've been working on, which is to power something like this, which is a Core M3 from Intel. Now this seems to be using a lot more power than the lower powered Pentium, or maybe Atom, don't exactly remember what one was in the AWAL. This requires too much power for what I currently have built in. So I've been working on using 2 power boosts in parallel to give me up to 6 amps, which under heavy load and testing worked. So I was able to, with a single cell battery, power the screen, the 1080p screen, and the Intel Compute Stick under heavy load. So right now I'm kind of going in that direction. Don't really have any prototypes done with the 2 upgrades that I'm doing, which is the increased amperage up to 6 amps total, and the sound, Bluetooth sound that will be available to connect to. So I think that's pretty much it, what I'm working on. It's just been a while since I put anything up on YouTube, so I wanted to share where the project's going, trying to think a little bit more universal, where somebody would be able to use any type of platform or operating system. And once you would have this dock, you'd be able to switch out different computers' operating systems. A little clunky on the back, obviously, but it does give you that versatility to switch between, a Raspberry Pi or a Windows compute stick. You can even put Linux on a compute stick. Some of the lower powered compute sticks I've seen for as little as like $37, as much as a Core M3 that I've been able to get for around $200, and then they have a Core M5, which is the highest one I've been able to see, but I haven't been able to get my hands on one. But the experience is much better, obviously, with a Core M3, especially in browsing, internet browsing, watching videos. Things just seem to move a lot quicker. But it's still usable with a lower-end Pentium or Celeron processor. I think it's a Z8300 on this guy. Once again, I guess we could look at the operating system. I mean, it's obviously just Windows. So this will be a little bit slower. My Wi-Fi signal's not very strong, but totally browsable. Where with the Pi Zero and the Banana Pi Zero, internet browsing really wasn't good. It was pretty much limited to just doing some programming and development. And yeah, so thanks for watching the video. I'll keep moving forward and see where this ends up. Just building this based totally off of the feedback that I've gotten from people seeing these videos and asking me, can they be more powerful? Can the screen be a little bit better? Can we get sound? Can the battery last longer? This was a 2,000 milliamp battery. Now we're up to 10,000. The 10,000 milliamp battery. Of course, battery life will completely depend on how strong the computer is, profiles, minimum power of the CPU when it's just sitting there, maximum power. Sound. So, but definitely having a swappable battery inside the case will give you some more options going forward. And it seems to be able to charge with the USB Type-C and run the computer at the same time. Yeah, oh, and I forgot to say there will be a charge light included in the newer models. And a dimmable screen. Now you're not going to get any feedback inside the operating system about the battery life, because of course it doesn't even know it's plugged into a battery. But I do have a dimmable screen on here which can save you power. And for my other videos, there's a backlight on the keyboard with multiple colors. Let's see, function, RGB. You can change the colors on the screen. So some cool stuff. Just trying to check off as many check boxes as I can here. and hopefully make something that's pretty good. I have no plans to do anything beyond just making this universal dock and being able to play around with some, and I think I have a couple people who are interested. No idea about pricing yet, just trying to prove it out and build something that would be universal. Turn up that screen brightness again. So thanks for watching the video. I think I covered as much as what I'm working on currently, and I'll leave my Instagram in the description where I update with pictures. Try to as I'm developing. Some days are slower than others. May only be able to get not much work done, and other days I'm able to get a lot of work done. Engineering wise is a little bit painful because I work a full-time job, so I'm not able to sit down and just engineer for 8 or 9 hours a day to get everything right. So you'll see I'll do lots of prints with small changes and keep printing and revising my design. So thanks.